First, as you know, our country has decided with our two other brother countries, Burkina Faso and Mali, to leave Ecowas. This is an irreversible decision as it has been long and carefully considered. It is part of the process of regaining our full sovereignty, an essential condition for our security and for our development.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Nigerian, my dear compatriots, tomorrow, December 18th, 2024, by the grace of Allah, the Clement and the Merciful, we will celebrate the 66th anniversary of the Republic of Niger. It is tradition on this occasion, which coincides with the end of the year, to do as a reminder of the main achievements accomplished by the government and to set out the prospects which are open to us. However, in the current context marked by the new vision in which our country has been registered since the seizure of power on 26 July 2023 by the National Council for the Safeguarding of the Fatherland, I would especially like to reflect with you, my dear compatriots, on the very essence of our republic from its proclamation in 1958 to the present day. This collective reflection is essential to better understand the complexity of the situation in which we find ourselves, our country, in relation to the issues linked to our current political choices. It is also to better understand the path taken in our patriotic fight for the safeguarding of our country and for the strengthening of our will to build a new Niger, guaranteeing a better future for all its sons. Nigerian, my dear compatriots, the celebration of the anniversary of the proclamation of our republic takes place this year in a particular context marked by the affirmation by the Nigerian people of its sovereignty following the seizure of power by the defense and security forces grouped within the CNSP. Since then, as you know, our country is facing total adversity on one side from all external actors who would like to see us return to their fold, and on the other hand, internal traitors who have compromised themselves with foreign interests and have indulged in the fraudulent monopolization of our public resources. My dear compatriots, the time has certainly come to discuss with you solemnly the strategy, cynical setup of our enemies to bring our country to its knees and submit it fast under the blow of surprise and anger. Our enemies, as you know, have decided on an unprecedented and inhuman embargo against the Nigerian people to give to their military aggression against our country every chance of success. The sequence of events is known to all our great people, supported by their brothers of Burkina and Mali, who, who knew how to victoriously face it with dignity, resilience, and determination in the face of their failure instead of it to register in the march of history underway in the Sahel by taking note in particular of political choice, our enemies nostalgic for their possession of colonial power and determined to defend their interests have developed with the complicity of certain Nigerians and renegade Africans a new approach, methodically articulated fall around the following actions. Number one, a media cabal organized against Niger, these brother countries, as well as their leaders at all levels. Number two, Machiavellian approach to undermine the cohesion between the members of the National Council for the safeguarding of the fatherland on one hand, and on the other hand, and between the CNSP and its government, with the complicity of certain Nigerians. Number three, a diplomatic campaign with all countries and other sub-regional, regional, and international institutions to demonize and isolate our country. Number four, a financial and economic war to stifle our country while taking care to formally announce the lifting of the embargo. Number 5. Targeted actions to stir up the social front with the complicity of some political actors and civil society. Number 6. Steps to divide our people and push certain communities to rebel against the authority of the state. Number 7. The installation of a military base of a mixed destabilization unit and intelligence cells in some of our neighboring countries in a sordid strategy of encircling Niger and the countries of the Confederation to keep us under permanent security pressure. Number 8, which is finally training intelligence, financial and material support to terrorist groups, as well as their supervision and support on the ground of Nigerian operations. Nigerians, my dear compatriots, as you can see, those who fight us for our political choices have just changed their methods. They used to continue through the perfidious and subversive actions to truly wage war on us. This is the place to pay a vibrant tribute to our defense and security forces, who often, at the price of the supreme sacrifice, protect the integrity of our territory and ensure the security and stability of our country. To their widows and their orphans, that they leave the expression of our compassion and our total support. It was also the place to pay a vibrant tribute to all the Nigerian people, our fellow citizens from the cities, the countryside, and the diaspora. I would like to tell you here that I know what you are enduring in terms of deprivation, high cost of living. I appreciate the sacrifices that you are making for our regained dignity, the sovereignty of our country, and so that our dear country, Niger, remains standing in independence. I salute your resilience, your courage, and in the audio, your patriotism, and your sense of history. You have decided that it is better to have dignity in the suffering than to have comfort in the service elsewhere. The numerous citizen contributions to the Solidarity Fund for the safeguarding of the homeland, despite the difficulties of the moment, are the most striking signs. They are the proof of our collective commitment to do henceforth what we can for our country. This is your new state of mind that I salute and for which the homeland is eternally grateful to you all. I want to assure you that your commitment and your efforts are beginning to bear fruit, that of the dignity and sovereignty regained by the new Niger, in which the Nigerians are the masters of their destiny. For my part, I wish to reiterate my solemn oath to never betray your aspirations and to work with you together to achieve our common objectives of independence, peace, security, and progress for all, for the happiness of all. Nigerians, my dear compatriots, this 66th anniversary is an opportunity to pay vibrant homage to the founding father of our republic, who accomplished the mission of their time with the means of their disposal. We must, however, recognize that for many reasons, including the new colonial trade that has heavily limited the room for maneuver of our countries, and the voluntary and zealous subjugation of some of our leaders, true sovereignty is to be conquered after 66 years. The battle for effective the battle for the effectiveness and efficiency of our state remains entirely to be waged. In the same way that there cannot be real state without sovereignty, there can be no development without a sovereign state. Only a sovereign state can develop. There is no historical precedent of a state under domination succeeding in developing itself. Nigerians, my dear compatriots, our founding fathers passed on the torch to us. Our generation has decided to fulfill its mission more than ever, so that this torch does not go out in our hands. The task is colossal, and we all know it, but without any triumphalism. We can already be delighted with certain achievements, structural victories that the Nigerian people have achieved since the seizure of power by the National Council for the Safeguarding of the Fatherland on 26 July 2023. This has placed our country on a new trajectory, promising renewed hope. What we have achieved includes expelling, without hatred or violence, the foreign forces which hindered our sovereignty and truly prevented our defense and security forces from increasing in power to effectively accomplish their mission, which is what we have succeeded in doing. Denouncing all contracts, treaties, legislative texts, and unfair conventions that go against Niger's interests and hinder the country's development. This sends a strong signal to those who have lived or intend to dominate or plunder Niger that from now on our country will defend its interests without complacency. What we have achieved is the affirmation of our sovereignty, of our natural resources long plundered by foreign powers and their local violence. What we have achieved is the unity of our people on the issues of national interests. All Nigerians look in the same direction, the one that preserves the higher interests of our country. Labusanino Zengasani, what we have achieved is to reawaken the patriotism of the Nigerians, long trampled underfoot by individuals serving personal or partisan and clan interests, or worse in the pay of mafia organizations or foreign powers. This is what we have achieved. It is the sincere support of the population to the government who are now united to keep the country on the path to development. What we have succeeded in is proving that Niger can stand up courageously and successfully face terrorism, pay its civil servants, ensure its sovereignty, expenses in a general way. In short, live without the so-called foreign assistance often used to threaten or humiliate the Nigerians. What we have achieved together is that for the first time in the history of our country, the decisions which commit Niger and its people are taken in Niger by Nigerians and the interest of Niger nowhere else. This is what has allowed us, in all responsibility and despite the difficult context that we are experiencing, to take social measures that are both symbolic and strong, which are, among others, the drop in the price of hydrocarbons at the pump, the reduction in the costs of certain medical and surgical procedures, and the drop in price of Nigerian semen. My dear compatriots, these successes are encouraging. However, they must be included not only in the long term, but also in the global vision and coherent to truly find a political and social project to do this. We have two major approaches at the national and international levels. At the international level, we have created an alliance with countries that share the same history, the same trajectory, the same challenges, the same peoples, and the same aspirations. The alliance of the Sahel states unites us with Burkina Faso and Mali, two brother countries that are resolutely by our side. The alliance, which evolved into the AES Confederation following the historic summit in Niamey on July 6, 2024, and which is intended to transform into a federation in the future, inshallah, will allow us to secure a common space and truly encourage us on the path to development. We then decided to diversify our partners and to henceforth register our diplomatic relations in the principle of mutual respect, of equality, of sovereignty, of a sincere, balanced, and win-win partnership, which takes into account the interests of our countries. This is certainly the place to thank, on behalf of the Nigerian people, friendly and brotherly countries who have shown understanding and sincere friendship with Niger in its difficult time that we are living without mentioning them. They will all recognize themselves and know that they can also count on Niger. At the national level, I have defined a strategic framework for governance for the transition called for Niger, divided in four axes. Axis 1, focuses on strengthening security and social cohesion. Axis 2 on promoting good governance. Axis 3 on developing production basis for economic sovereignty. And Axis 4 on accelerating social reforms. I have also drawn up mission letters for the members of the government, and each ministerial department will report when the time comes on the execution of the missions entrusted to it, and the consequences will be drawn from this with all responsibility. It is our sacred duty of accountability towards the people of Niger. In any case, at one time or another, everyone will be accountable for their actions before the people, history, and their creator, as will the rulers, public agents, fathers of families, and every Nigerian citizen. Nigerians, my dear compatriots, to finish, I would like to evoke three current subjects of national interest, even international. First, as you know, our country has decided with our two other brother countries, Burkina Faso and Mali, to leave Ecowas. This is an irreversible decision, as it has been long and carefully considered. It is part of the process of regaining our full sovereignty, an essential condition for our security and for our development within the framework of the alliance of the Sahel states. Also, it has the merit of having definitively removed the foreign power and their African valets all means and all legitimacy to wage war on us through ECOWAS, instrumentalized and diverted for several years from these noble objectives. I would therefore like to reassure all Nigerians and beyond, all our fellow citizens of the AES Confederation, that leaving ECOWAS will not cause any harm to our countries and their nationals. Niger and our confederation will continue to maintain good neighborly relations in cooperation with all the countries of our West African region, as in the case with the 42 other African countries, members of the African Union, and the other 180 member countries of the United Nations Organization, and the prize for peace and justice in any event. I wish to reassure our fellow citizens of the Confederation that all arrangements will be made to deal with any eventuality. The second subject that I wish to address with you, my dear compatriots, relates to the winter campaign. In fact, as you know, this year, Allah has blessed us with a fruitful wintering. The rains have been abundant. Also, they have certainly caused significant material damage and eyes our families in the CET effect. I have a stinking thought for our missing, and I salute the efforts of all those who supported us in dealing with the emergency, and in particular the National Committee, which has proven that Niger is sovereignly capable of managing such a type of situation. But these rains have especially allowed for an abundant harvest in pastures. I therefore invite all the competent services of the state and all Nigerians to learn all the lessons from this winter campaign, so that the rains in our harsh Sahel are not more synonymous with flooding, destruction, desolation, and death, because they are a great blessing from Allah and Allah, as translated so well by the Hausa Laj, who says, Ruale Matara. On the other hand, I appeal for rigorous and responsible management of the blessings of this winter campaign by preserving our pasture from the fires of brew, and by managing our harvests as good farmers that we must all be. Finally, I invite all the Nigerians to leave the false defamatory messages on the media and other social networks. They are contrary to our traditional and religious values. They participate in distracting us and distancing us from the real public debate on our vital and strategic interests at a time when we are truly at war with our enemies, who are trying by all means to break up our living together. To prevent our determined march towards progress, it's to say that the time has come to be vigilant in order to thwart the campaign of intoxication and disinformation, undertaken by the sponsors of terrorism in the Sahel to undermine the morale of our troops and incite ethnic hatred and break our social cohesion inherited from our Nigerian ancestors. My dear compatriots, at the end of my speech, I would like to pay sincere and deserved tribute to all those who are mobilized and continue to mobilize to defend our dignity and our sovereignty. It is on your firm commitment that the success of our projects for Niger depends on it. I pray to Allah, the clement and the merciful, that He grants His eternal paradise to our brothers and sisters, both military and civilian victims of terrorism, and wishes a speedy recovery to the wounded. To all, know that your sacrifices and your efforts will not be in vain. Niger is on the right path, that of progress for all its sons. So I invite each Nigerian to form the deep conviction that Niger is our common good. It belongs to all of us and not to any foreign power or any regional or international organization. It is therefore up to us Nigerians and to us other individuals, countries, or organizations not only to protect our country from the ICU and the level of prosperous countries, but also to draw from it the determination not to give in to any threat or injunction from wherever they come. Let us therefore definitely integrate that Niger, land of our ancestors, is eternal and that the difficulties of the URE are necessarily temporary. Their intrigue continues as they keep hoping that the Confederation collapses in the months to come. Their so-called satanic plan of destabilization will undoubtedly fail, inshallah, in the face of our determination and with the help of Allah. Finally, I would like at this time, when the gaze of the Nigerians is turned away towards the competitions of our traditional wrestling, which is in its 45th edition, to wish a beautiful Galgajia to all. May the best win and may the Nigerians fraternize in their cultural diversity and security. This is how Niger will win. Long live the Republic, long live the National Council for the Safeguarding of the Fatherland and its government. Long live the united people and committed to its sovereignty. Long live the Confederation of the Alliance of the Sahel States. Long live Niger. Thank you.